So, the Eagles didn't get the number 2 seed in the playoffs, but it really didn't matter. The Eagles are going to the NFC Championship game, and the NFC, it comes to Philadelphia. What's going on, everybody? Spunky Nights Not One coming you guys another video. Coming at you guys with my Eagles Rams post game recap. So the Philadelphia Eagles in a crazy game to say the least, a snow game in Philadelphia. The Eagles defeat the Los Angeles Rams 28-22, beating them for the second time this year. And once again, another great performance by Saquon Barkley. Over 205 yards rushing by Saquon Barkley. Last time he played this Rams team in Los Angeles, he had 255. So, Saquon Barkley, this is why we brought this guy in. And when the Eagles needed him the most, like he's done all season, this guy did his thing. The Eagles are going, like I said, back to the NFC Championship game. This is the 8th NFC Championship game the Eagles have been to this century alone. 9th overall NFC Championship game that the Eagles have played in. And they're going up against a familiar foe. Those Washington Commanders. Those Washington Commanders who went into Detroit and absolutely stunned the Lions 45-31. Congratulations to Washington, man. There's no hate here. Jada Daniels is definitely a franchise quarterback. You guys have your quarterback. But I'm looking forward to this matchup. This third matchup against Washington. Now, a lot of people thought that the Eagles and the Lions were destined to meet in the playoffs, but obviously that was not the case. I'm actually like, okay. I was kind of in between when it came to that game, because I was like, I feel like our path to the Super Bowl is easier going through Washington than it was Detroit. But at the end of the day, who knows? Ultimately, this is the playoffs. It's any team, any given day. You never know. But I feel pretty good about the Eagles going up against Washington. The last time we played Washington, Jalen Hurts went out of that game with a concussion. We had 4 defensive starters that went out. Before Jalen Hurts went down, the Eagles were pretty much at they had that game in control, and they were on their way to blowing that team out that game. And then Pickett comes in, of course, throws that interception that kind of changed the tone of the game. But even with all that, the Eagles were just a drop pass away by Devontae Smith for sweeping Washington. So it feels like it was just fate for the Eagles and Washington to meet for the third time this season, and I can't wait. Let me get some props where it's due. Jaden Daniels, rookie quarterback, has the same amount of playoff wins that Dak Prescott has in his 9-year career. Let that sink in. 2 playoff wins by Jaden Daniels these playoffs. He has the same amount of playoff wins that Dak Prescott has his entire career. Now, tell a Cowboy fan that they are not gonna that you want to ruin the Cowboy fans' day. Right there is enough right there. But Jaden Daniels, you got to wait till at least next year to pass Dak Prescott, because the Eagles in Philadelphia, you bet your ass the Eagles are going to be fired up. They're going to be pumped up. The goal is to get to that game in New Orleans, and the Eagles are going to, I strongly believe the Eagles are going to bring it. The weather in this game definitely made a huge impact. Absolutely made a huge impact. It was a nail biter. It shouldn't have been a nail biter like this, because had it not been for a safety and 2 missed extra points by the Eagles, this game would not have came down to the final minutes of the game. But thank God the defense, they stepped up when we needed them to step up as well. They got the stop when we needed them to get the stop. And the Eagles are going back to the NFC Championship game. I remember a lot of us Eagle fans were obviously disappointed when, we missed out on that number 1 seed in the playoffs. But it ultimately didn't matter. With Washington doing us a big favor and going into Detroit and beating Detroit, we still got home field advantage in the playoffs. We still play, we still get to play all 3 of these playoff games at home. Let's get that 3rd playoff game at home, and let's get to New Orleans. But just to go over this game real quick between the Eagles and Los Angeles, it was definitely a crazy game. It started off light snow, but then by late in the game, it was a snowball, which is ironic because one of the most iconic games in Eagles history against Matthew Stafford, the quarterback who is now quarterback of the Rams, it was a snow game. So once again, we playing Matthew Stafford in a snow game in Philadelphia. This time, I say it was with the Rams. At the time, he was a Lions quarterback. I think I said Rams, but at the time he was a Lions quarterback. This time around, he's of course with the Rams. But again, against Matthew Stafford in the snow, the Eagles are victorious. And the Eagles' dominance over the Rams, because we have been beating this team consistently since 2017 where before that, but since they went back to Los Angeles, the Eagles have been absolutely dominating the series against the Rams, and that continues. Quinyon Mitchell, fingers crossed he's ready to go for the NFC Championship game. He went out early with a shoulder injury. We're definitely going to need him against Washington next week. He does a great job against Terry McLaurin, so we're definitely going to need him. Jalen Hurts did suffer a knee injury in this game, but hopefully it's light. He did come back to the game, obviously, with a brace on. Hopefully he's going to be perfectly fine, ready to go for the NFC Championship game. We definitely need him, and I know how tough of a warrior he is. He came back to play this game. We're going to definitely need him. Hopefully he's going to be just fine and ready to go. But a quick, when it comes to the numbers of this game, Jalen Hurts didn't have exactly a spectacular day, but the important thing is he didn't turn the ball over. 15 for 20, 128 yards passing, 0 for touchdowns and receptions. Saquon Barkley was the man. 26 carries for 205 yards, 7.9 rushing average per rush, 2 touchdowns, including that one late in the fourth quarter that ultimately turned out to be the game winner. Jalen Hurts did contribute quite a bit on the ground though. 7 carries for 70 yards, 10.0 average to carry. He did have a rushing touchdown, which was to open the game, to start the game off. He should have had a second touchdown that Philly shove, but because of offsides, but false start, that didn't count, and the Eagles had to settle for a field goal there. Kenneth Gainwell 1 carry for 10 yards. Receiving, Dallas Goedert 4 catches, 46 yards, 14.0 average to catch. A couple big catches by him. Saquon Barkley 4 catches for 27 yards, 6.8 average yards to catch. Devontae Smith 4 catches for 21 yards, 5.2 average yards to catch. A.J. Brown 2 catches for 14 yards, 7.0 yards average to catch. Kenneth Gainwell 1 catch for 10 yards. Defensively, the defense, they had kind of an up and down day, but they got some big turnovers for the Eagles, and that made the difference, and they made the stop when we needed them to the most. Darius Slay 5 tackles, 1 tackle assist. C.J. Gardner-Johnson 5 tackles, 1 tackle assist. Zach Bond 5 tackles, 1 tackle assist. Reed Blankenship 4 tackles, 2 tackle assists. Owen Burks 4 tackles, 2 tackle assists. Isaiah Rodgers 4 tackles, 1 tackle assist. Jalen Carter, just a beast, 3 tackles, 2 tackle assists, 2 sacks. Cooper DeJean 3 tackles, 2 tackle assists. Nolan Smith Jr. 1 tackle, 1 tackle assist. Also had a sack. Moa Ujomo 1 tackle, 1 sack. Jaylus Hunt 1 tackle, 1 sack. Quinyon Mitchell, like I said, went out early in the game. Fingers crossed he'll be ready to go against Washington. 1 tackle. Jordan Davis 1 tackle. Josh Sweat 1 tackle. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. 1 tackle assist. Kick returns. Kenneth Gainwell 2 kick returns for 71 yards. 35.5 average a punt. A punt return. Isaiah Rodgers 1 return for 22 yards. Punt returns. Cooper DeJean 3 punts for 5 yards, 1.7 average return. Jake Elliott had kind of an up and down day. He missed 2 extra points, which absolutely hurt, because had he not missed those games, the final drive by the Rams wouldn't have mattered. That would have been 30 points right there. The Eagles would have been up. It would have been actually, no, I take that back, actually. It still wouldn't matter, but it would have been an 8-point game. That dang on that safety that by Jalen Hurts, where they should have just kept running the ball and and not throw the ball. This was right after Jalen Hurts had came back with a brace on his knee. That was just dumb play calling by Kellen Moore to have your quarterback throwing there on our side of the field. But still, those were 2 big misses, and thank God that it didn't cost us this game, because all the Rams had to do was go down there and score a touchdown, which they got pretty close, and that's the point, they would have won the game. So, wow, wipe the sweat off our head, because that was rough. And hopefully next game it's not snowing in Philadelphia. Hopefully it's hopefully Jake Elliott is better next week. But he did make some big field goals when we needed him to make some big field goals. He was 3 for 3, 100% when it comes to field goals. His long was a 44-yard field goal. He scored 10 points for us, which obviously were a difference maker. Brady Mann, 4 punts for 199 yards, 49.8 average a punt, 2 inside the 20. So Brady Mann did his thing when it came to punting, pushing the Commanders, the Rams offense as far back as possible. Going over the scoring summary here, with 11 minutes and 55 seconds left in the first quarter. Jalen Hurts burst off for a 44-yard touchdown run. Jake Elliott with the extra point not being good. He missed the extra point. 6-0 Eagles. The Rams responded back with 6 minutes and 32 seconds left on the clock. Tyler Higbee caught a 4-yard touchdown pass from Matthew Stafford. Joshua Cardi with the extra point. 7-6 Washington. I keep wanting to say Washington. Rams. With 1 minute 7 seconds left in the first quarter, Saquon Barkley with a 62-yard field goal. Jake Elliott with the extra point. This time is good. 7-13 Eagles. In the second quarter, with 12 minutes and 47 seconds left, Joshua Carty with a 30-yard field goal. It's 10-13. 10-13 Eagles. In the third quarter, with 7 minutes and 37 seconds left on the clock, Joshua Carty with a 34-yard field goal. 13-13. Game is tied. In the second quarter, Jake Elliott kicked a 44-yard field goal with 2 minutes and 19 seconds left on the clock. It's 13-6. 13-16 Eagles. A safety, which, like I said, this was right after Hurts had came back. Should not have have been running him on second down there. Should not have been throwing the ball there on second down. Should have handed that ball off. But yeah, safety by Neville Gilmore. 15-16. Eagles still lead. Eagles will not give up the lead again this game. In the fourth quarter, with 13 minutes and 23 seconds, after a turnover by the Eagles defense against the Rams, the Eagles should have had a touchdown, but called back, of course. But Jake Elliott still came through for us. 23-yard field goal. 15-19 Eagles. With 6 minutes and 18 seconds left in the fourth quarter, Jake Elliott with a 37-yard field goal. 22-15 Eagles. And then Saquon Barkley. Excuse me. Saquon Barkley doing exactly what we paid him to do, what we brought him in here to do. He burst off for a 78-yard touchdown with 4 minutes and 36 seconds left in the fourth quarter. He burst off for a 78-yard touchdown. 28-15 Eagles. You think to yourself, okay, Eagles got a little separation here, so this is good, obviously, but it was still not over yet. Still not over. The damn Rams went down the field and scored another touchdown with 2 minutes and 48 seconds left on the clock. Kobe Parkinson caught a 4-yard touchdown pass from Matthew Stafford. Joshua Carty, extra point is good. 28-28 Eagles. So the Rams now have a 3 timeouts. They decide, okay, we're going to kick it off to the Eagles and trust our defense. And it worked for them, of course, because our offense couldn't get a single first down on that drive. So now we have to depend on the defense. And there were a couple big plays that Matthew Stafford was able to get down the field. Puka Nacua with a big catch for the Rams to set them up in good position to try to win the game. But the defense stepped up. Big sack by Jalen Carter there. Eagles, covering well, and at the last throw by Matthew Stafford goes incomplete. Eagles win the game. Eagles, it's a turnover on downs. Eagles take a knee. Eagles are on to the NFC Championship game, which will be in Philadelphia next Sunday. Yeah, it will be in Philadelphia next Sunday. Yes, absolutely yes. Having the NFC Championship game in Philadelphia is huge because I was like, okay, well, if we have to go to Detroit and play Detroit in Detroit, yeah, I have confidence in my team that we can get the job done, but that's a tough environment to go win in. But to the Commanders' credit, which I did not expect, but to their credit, that's exactly what they did. They went in there and beat Detroit. And because of that, the Eagles are going to be at home for all 3 playoff games with a chance to go to the Super Bowl. Let's go, Birds. Let's go. Here's the total numbers by the teams. The Rams had more yards, 402 yards of offense. Eagles had 350 yards of offense. Passing yards, Rams had more passing yards. Eagles had 128 passing yards. Rushing yards, they had the Rams had 111 rushing yards. The Eagles had just under 300 yards of rushing yards. When it comes to yards per play, 5.7 yards per play by both teams. First downs, Rams had 18, Eagles had 16. Third down efficiency, Rams 6 for 16, Eagles 6 for 15. Fourth down efficiency, Rams 1 for 2, Eagles 1 for 1. Total plays ran, Rams ran 70 plays, Eagles ran 61 plays. Sacks allowed, Rams allowed 5 sacks. Eagles allowed 7 sacks, which we got to clean that up. We got to have much better pass protection next week. Punts, 5 punts by the Rams, 4 punts by the Eagles. Penalties, the Rams committed three penalties for 30 yards. Eagles committed 3 for 14 yards. Fumbles lost. Rams lost 2 fumbles. Eagles lost 0. Interceptions thrown. Neither team threw an interception. Although the Eagles had opportunity twice to intercept Matthew Stafford, just didn't catch the ball. Time of possession, the Rams held the ball for 29 minutes and 6 seconds. The Eagles won this battle, surprisingly to me. They held the ball for 30 minutes and 54 seconds. So, there you have it. Like I said, man, it's no game against Matthew Stafford. Not the first time, obviously. Definitely a nail biter at the end. A big nail biter. But the Eagles were able to get the job done. The Eagles are now hosting the division rival Washington Commanders in the NFC Championship game. I would have to go back and look, but you know, it's a rarity that you have 2 division rivals competing for a conference championship. You know, it doesn't happen very often. This is the first time that the Commanders, back obviously, when they last went to the NFC Championship game, they were the Washington Redskins. Now they're the Commanders, of course. First time they're back, that franchise is back in this game since 1992. It just feels like it's fate, man. Like we were destined to meet with the with the Commanders again. And when we lost that regular season game, I really wasn't all mad about that, because I'm like, okay, no Jalen Hurts, 4 defensive starters hurt, and they still had to really fight to beat us in that game. Hopefully this game, obviously, we for the most part we are healthy, and Jalen Hurts is ready to go. Quinyon's ready to go. We're just ready to go. And we beat them the first time around. They beat us the second time around. Let's beat them when it matters the most, which is right in the NFC Championship game. Let's send Washington home. Let's go on to the Super Bowl. There's no words to describe how happy I am right now. How proud I am of this team. They persevered. When things got a little tough in this game, they continued to just play hard, and ultimately they got out of here with the win. Now next week against Washington, we need to start off hot, and we need to stay hot all game long. The weather was definitely a big impact in this game, so I definitely understand that there was some sloppy play because of the weather. But next week against the Commanders, we cannot afford any turnovers, no safeties, like a dumb bonehead safety in this game. We got to be consistent on offense, scoring points consistently if we want to get to Super Bowl 59. Well, there you have it, man. There's my recap of this game. Eagles beat the Los Angeles Rams 28-22. The Eagles are headed to the NFC Championship game, where they will host the Washington Commanders in Philadelphia. NFC East, the NFC Championship game. It don't get much better than that, right? NFC East, NFC Championship game. Winner goes to Super Bowl 59. But I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up. Let's go Birds. Let's go beat those Washington Commanders next Sunday. But as always, go Birds. Spunky 991 is out here. Fly, go fly. Peace.
That's all, folks.